Thank you, Finovate, for this incredible opportunity. 10 months ago, at this very stage, halfway around the world at Finovate Asia, we had just launched Fraud Shield, the industry's first fraud risk intervention solution that leverages mobile telephony and collective user intelligence to close the fraud loop between customers, merchants, and banks. The early attention we received at Finovate resulted in us going into pilots with a major third-party payment processor backed by 7 strategic banks in the Middle East and Asia. We were also named as one of Canada's top globalizers for the year with the Canadian Digital Media Network. I am Deepak, CTO and co-founder. This is my colleague Michael, and we are excited to be here. At Zighra, we are a bunch of security scientists, and we were frustrated with having to use our PINs and passwords every time we use our phones and logged into our apps. So we had this crazy idea to train our phones to uniquely recognize us based on our habits and interaction patterns. What if we could authenticate simply by interacting with the application? "70% of smartphone users disable screen locks and leave their apps perpetually logged in, which is a huge security and privacy nightmare, considering that every 3.5 seconds, a phone is either lost or stolen in North America. What we found out was that when it comes to smartphones and tablets, convenience trumps security. Let me repeat that. Convenience trumps security. That is why, for the very first time, we are unveiling Zighra's Kinetic ID, bringing the power of human kinetics and implicit user authentication to mobile apps. Let's see it in action.
So what you see here is our implicit authentication technology integrated into an existing mobile payment application. Let's say that I'm at a coffee shop and I want to make a purchase. I get a QR code or something, which I scan with the application, and it brings up this receipt. In order to complete the transaction, I simply swipe across the screen, the phone recognizes me, and I'm authenticated.
It is as simple as that. So what we did was at the checkout screen, we added an invisible user authentication layer. The user simply interacts with that screen and is authenticated. So our technology analyzes over 30+ data points to uniquely recognize a user based on their habits and generates a reliability score. Now, let's take a look at how secure this is.
So I'm going to complete the transaction again. Deepak is going to closely observe me as I do that, and then he's going to try replicating what I do. So scan another QR code. I'm authenticated.
Now that I've observed Michael, I'm going to closely replicate what he has done. And the transaction is declined. Our technology was unable to recognize me as a user on the phone and generates a low reliability score. Now, at this point, application developers can add additional layers of security like PINs, passwords, and other biometrics based on the security level of the application. Also, there is no specific training that is required for the user to use this. Our technology implicitly learns based on the user's interaction with their application. Let's go through a few screens to show how the application really works. So our technology embeds into any mobile application with just a few lines of code. In this specific case, we have embedded it into a mobile payment solution. So the user scans a QR code and is taken to the checkout page. Now at the checkout page, we add our patent-pending invisible user authentication layer. So now it becomes implicit part of the task. There's no extra steps that is required. The user just swipes the screen away and is authenticated. So what really happened behind the scenes was that our technology was constantly learning. The user was not restricted to a specific pattern, gesture, or even direction. They could interact anywhere on screen. So let me conclude by saying this. So the green shield on the top left corner indicates the strength of the model and says that the app is now ready for implicit authentication. We are collectively living through some of the most exciting times in the financial services space. Innovators are making it possible for anyone to buy and sell anything using their phones. Now, as exciting as that sounds, it comes with increased security and fraud friction. Zighra enables banks and mobile payment providers to take the friction out of authentication by securely avoiding PINs, passwords, and other biometrics, provide convenience without compromising security, and drive mobile transactions. For your personalized demo, or try replicating Michael, please drop by our booth and we would love to chat. Thank you very much for your time.